any big major institution that has a lot of centralized power is really being called into question. I think that it's important to always look to what the solution to some of those things could be. Fundamentally, cryptocurrency is powerful because it puts the power back into the hands of users. It's helpful to have a legal background. Obviously, when you're talking about crypto networks, it's really important to think about innovation and regulation. And we like to say at Andreessen Horowitz, encouraging and fostering responsible innovation. As a federal prosecutor, I worked on cases of all different varieties, from organized crime to violent crimes to white-collar crimes, and of course then into crimes involving technology. While I was in the U.S. Attorney's Office out in San Francisco, I created and stood up a federal task force dedicated to investigating crimes involving cryptocurrencies. I led a criminal investigation and criminal indictment against the cryptocurrency exchange BTCE, based in Russia. Another case was what I'll call the Silk Road case, but with a twist, because it wasn't the actual Silk Road case that I investigated, but rather some of the task force members, unfortunately from the federal side, that were investigating the Silk Road. I think when people hear the term federal task force, they assume that it's just to go shut down something. The cryptocurrency task force, it was really also to understand the technology, understand trends, and have industry and government partner together where it made sense. Technology has always been an interest of mine, but I think that moving out to California and to the Bay Area just under a decade ago really brought that more into focus. I had somewhat of an international background in my earlier life, and I think that's one of the things that first drew me into cryptocurrency. It's just how it transcends really all boundaries. One of the other things I saw early on was the potential that it had to really transform kind of the 2 billion people in the world who don't have access to basic financial services or identity. There was a real need for bridge building between the way kind of some regulators were thinking about this technology and the way that some of the entrepreneurs were thinking about it. And those views were very different. And I thought I could really add value by helping to bridge that gap, but also helping think strategically about the roadmap.
We don't want regulation to outpace understanding. And if you would have had a law about cryptocurrencies or blockchain passed a year ago, it would have been completely outdated today.
I left the Justice Department just over a year and a half ago, and I joined a couple boards of directors of Silicon Valley companies. One notable example is Coinbase. I was also advising other tech companies and doing some of my own personal investing. And when I started looking around, the thing that became very clear to me was that Andreessen Horowitz was just really without equal, and particularly where you were talking about the cryptocurrency field. I had already worked with my partner, Chris Dixon, on the Coinbase board, so it was a very natural jump. We take a very long-term view of cryptocurrency. We're not a crypto hedge fund, we're a venture capital fund. So we really have a kind of 7 to 10-year view. We're really in the early, what I call dial-up days of crypto technology. Some important projects that need to happen and that I'm seeing happen already, the beginnings of them are, really products around custody and security. Obviously, some of our portfolio companies at Andreessen Horowitz are involved in both of those, including Coinbase. Also just scaling solutions. One of the criticisms for crypto right now is, well, it's too slow and it doesn't move fast enough. And I think this is true of a lot of things that ultimately displaced the older models. I mean, even going back to the horse and buggy days. When the first car came out, people thought, well, it's slower. And, why wouldn't we just use the horse and buggy? And roads needed to be built first, and highways needed to be built first, and services for users like gas stations needed to come along first. And the same is true in crypto. I think it was significant, but I'm just excited to partner with such a great team there, and I'm less focused on the fact that I was the first female general partner. I do find that I get a lot of inbound requests from young women who tell me that they consider me a role model, and I'm really flattered by that, and I also like to set aside time in my schedule to do what I can to help mentor other people. It's not only women that reach out to me and could see me as a role model. It's a lot of men too. And I offer them all the same advice, which is just be really open-minded, go into something that you're passionate about, and get ready to roll up your sleeves and put in the work.